Today we're talking musical words. Now, many musicians have literally seen a variation of these words in their pieces, and although they can be at the end, in the middle, through a phrase, through a certain sentence, they actually do have literal meanings, but we're going to talk about what they can also mean in addition to those literal meanings. So the first one that we can most often come up to is a rit. A retard, retardando. You can be a little bit fancy with it. But typically I see them more, and more musicians see them at the end of a piece, and it's to slow down, to stop. It's to have that gradual slowing down, but it's abrupt. There's some purpose behind it. And I usually use like sleep in heavenly peace. We don't actually sing it like that. We elongate the ending of sleep in, slow down, and pause and stop. Now, when we have a rallentando, it's midway through a piece, usually followed by a fermata, and then a tempo is back to the original tempo that you began with. So it has this like stretched out middle part, da 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 da, back to a tempo. I don't know what song I'm singing, but it's just an example. And then when we have an allargando, I typically see them more in a phrase. So it's in the midway portion of the piece, and it's to stretch your music. It's to stretch that phrase to make it a little bit more prominent. So it's a slowdown, but it's a gradual slowdown per sentence. So, little recap, because I talked quite fast there. When we have a retardando, it's typically at the end, and it's where you slow down so that you stop. It's usually 2 or more bars. I would say anywhere between 2 and 4. I've seen as much as like 6, but that's just redonkulous. But that's the gradual slowdown. When we have a rallentando, it's usually marked with the shorthand of it, and that is midway through a piece, and it's to literally have this emotional slowdown, this beautiful slowdown, so that you hold in a fermata, you literally hold the note, and literally above the staff will be written a tempo. You go back to the original tempo that you began the piece in. That's what that's stating. So sometimes it might not actually be written, but it'll act as a slowdown, an emotional, impactful slowdown. And then when we have an allargando, it's really to just stretch a phrase. It's to make a few of them tenuto, a few of them a little bit longer, a few of them shorter, a few of them with a little bit of acceleration, deceleration. It's for the emotional value. So when we're talking about musical words sometimes like these, it's so that we can add that impact.